Hello and welcome to the Imaging Wire Show. My name is Brian Casey. I'm managing editor of the Imaging Wire. We've got a great episode for you today. Our topic is cybersecurity and the cloud. And our guest is Vikram Chhabra. He is General Manager of Diagnostics and Medical Imaging AI Solutions at Microsoft. Vikram, thanks for being with us today.
I'm glad to be here. Looking forward to the dialogue.
Same here. So Vikram, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Microsoft?
Happy to. I'll lead the diagnostic portfolio, the solutions at Microsoft. As you know, Microsoft and Nuance have come together, and we are on an exciting journey bringing the portfolio together. That's the segment I'll lead. I've been in the enterprise world for decades now, touched multiple industries, and been part of the Nuance Microsoft joint factory for about 3.5 years now. So we are definitely heavily invested in Microsoft Cloud for healthcare, and the Nuance solutions are a core part of it. We'll definitely talk more about it as we go through the conversation.
Very good. We sure will. Let's dive right in. So cybersecurity has become like one of the number one IT issues that's facing, everybody that uses a computer these days. And in healthcare, it's particularly important due to, patient privacy issues and all that kind of stuff. Now, we've heard about the major cybersecurity and ransomware attacks that have happened over the last couple of years. What are you hearing from your customers in terms of how they're trying to deal with cybersecurity issues?
You start with a topic that's near and dear to my heart. For many years in my career, I spent time in cybersecurity services, working for a global security services firm. And I had the opportunity to see some of the most difficult attacks on critical infrastructure globally. But if you zoom out a bit, if you see where cyber threat, cyber crime is, it is the third largest economy, so to speak, after US and China, and that's frightening. But particularly as you zoom in, although, this cyber crime industry touches everything that we do around us, this is a nationwide issue. Healthcare is one of the top 10 targeted industries. Now, we have to zoom in and understand why that's happening. Number one, healthcare organizations, they are high value targets. You're talking about countries' critical infrastructure. There might be just a single hospital for miles and miles, especially if you're in the rural area. So if you go back in time, there used to be a period when there was almost like this unwritten rule that bad actors left out school and kids and healthcare organizations. Unfortunately, we are not seeing that. On the contrary, we are seeing highly sophisticated and coordinated attacks against healthcare organizations. As a matter of fact, just talking to some of our customers, right, the number of ransomware attacks have gone up. Now, there have been public reports as well where certain organizations have disclosed the payment they've made, and it's astonishing the amount of numbers which can go as high as almost 4.5 million on an average. So this is becoming a serious disruptor. As I speak with IT leaders across healthcare organizations, this is definitely a top concern on their mind. We have to peel back and ask why this is happening. And two primary reasons come to mind. One, of course, is there is a dearth of cybersecurity talent across industry. Healthcare, definitely, yes. Globally, this is the challenge. If you start to look up, in the job boards, one of the highest job asks is somebody with cybersecurity talent who also understands the depth of the vertical as well. And the second is, many of these organizations, they're strained for resources, and they may have some legacy infrastructure that's truly not designed for the current threat level, which just exposes them a lot more. So definitely a top concern for healthcare IT leaders.
So the classic, architecture for hospitals is when it comes to IT is to have their servers, in a server room somewhere on site, and they manage all their own data, and they're dealing with all their own cybersecurity. And as you mentioned in the past, when they weren't targets like this, that might have been okay. But now, you've got all these community hospitals and rural providers that are targets. So that's got to be really tough for these folks to manage that. Does moving to the cloud where you're storing hospital data at one of these big hyperscalers, does that make their job a little bit easier?
You're touching something that's been on top of our mind for a while now. So we'll go back to the reasons. Dearth of cloud security talent, dearth of just security talent, as well as data infrastructures. Organizations, healthcare organizations, they are super burdened today. We all know that. And the best place where they want to spend their time is streamlining the workflows for their clinicians. They unfortunately don't have the staff to bring the threat intel across the globe what's happening. And this is where partnering with a cloud service provider makes a huge hyperscaler makes a huge difference, where the cloud security provider, the cloud service provider, hyperscalers like Azure, we have access to telemetry coming across the globe with massive, investments in threat intel and having the protection and the detection controls that are needed to truly understand the threat landscape and embed that into the architecture. Second, the world of cloud, the architectures are designed to be on a connected platform as compared to the on-prem architectures. They were never designed, Brian, to be connected out on the globe. So you're talking about some legacy architectures that are just not ready for the threat landscape today. Now, whether you're consuming infrastructure services, platform, SaaS services, these services inherently today are designed to be secure, and you're leveraging the community knowledge of the hyperscaler. That's huge, especially, for somebody like Microsoft Azure, we have extremely deep investments in security. It's, primary fundamental, the way we follow things. And our customers get the value directly to them. Now, I have to always remind, cloud security is always a shared responsibility model. You can bring the strongest castle, but if you leave the front door open, it doesn't help, right? So ensuring the right controls are super easy for our customers to consume. And so then they can define their access policies, et cetera, as they leverage the infrastructure. But by leveraging the hyperscalers, they're moving some of that burden of the infrastructure or the platform services on the hyperscaler, leveraging their cybersecurity talent, and the organization themselves can focus on what they need to do the most, which is streamlining their own workflows, et cetera. So it pays huge dividend. The other thing that happens as you move to hyperscalers like Azure is there are security tools that are baked into the factory, into the tooling as well, which makes it easier to deploy versus shopping around for tools across the ecosystem.
Yeah, Vikram, to what extent does Microsoft have security in mind when you're developing new features and new innovations? Is security something that you're thinking about at every step in this development process?
Security, investment in security is a business decision. You're just like user experience, serviceability. You can't effectively just plaster it on top of the product. It has to be baked into the fabric of the product. Microsoft has been very vocal and transparent about a secure future initiative. Our CEO, Satya Nadella, has mandated that security is a priority zero. It's baked into every employee's code of conduct. This is how we operate. Recently, our EVP of security, Charlie Bell, he published almost a progress report on the investments we are making in this space. Let me just double click behind the scenes, how we think about it. The three fundamental principles. One, secure by design. You can't bake security as an afterthought. It has to be baked into how your access controls are defined, your data protection is defined, etc. And that's a product design time decision, not just for new products, but even for existing products, we've had to make investments to make sure we continue to raise the bar based on the threats of today. Second, secure by default. We no longer live in the world, again, I'm dating myself. Back in the day, you could get like an appliance and that would be like wide open. That's not the world we live in today. By default, the box, the application has to come secure with the right knobs for the customers to be able to tune the policies and the access they need and the controls they want. But by default, minimize the burden on our customers to enable it, just switch on. And the third thing, super critical in security, is having the visibility secure in operations, having the right telemetry, having the right monitoring, etc., both for our own service operations as well as for our customers as well, so that they can implement into their cyber security practices. But, one of the things, myself coming from Nuance into the world of Microsoft, we feel very fortunate. We have access to 8,500 security professionals in this company, actively looking at researching at tools and parsing through the threat intel to understand how the landscape is shifting and how do we need to invest every month, every sprint into our products. We have like multiple waves that we continue to mandate through our products. And this is Microsoft, right? Of course, applies to all healthcare applications as well. So there is a big commitment in the company. And again, like I said, if you go read the progress report, Microsoft has been pretty open about it. The area where this gets even more interesting now, Brian, we are living in this world of AI, and we have to understand how security landscape changes with AI. And this is where the responsible AI framework, again, we're pretty open about this, collaborating with industry leaders on different principles, whether it's inclusive, reliability, transparency, accountability, fairness, baking these things into the way we validate before bringing AI out, either through our products or through our platform services. Everything we do, my team that does, has to go through the responsible AI board, validating across that framework to see, did we really check the boxes and put in the right controls or procedures in place? And that's the level of investment that goes into this, into our products in this company.
Very good. So Vikram, you mentioned Nuance. Let's talk about that a little bit. So Nuance is now part of Microsoft, and what does that mean for your product portfolio and also for your customers?
So first of all, the world of healthcare is not new to Microsoft. Microsoft has been serving the healthcare industry for decades at this point. Nuance brought in, our deep expertise in conversational AI, ambient speech, and Microsoft had this deep stack of data platforms, AI services. Today, all of that is integrated into one unit, Health and Life Sciences division, all brought together for Microsoft Cloud for Healthcare. We have this amazing opportunity, and we're already on it, where we're integrating the applications and the stack together. Think about this. Historically, all the data in the world of healthcare was logged into proprietary applications or systems of record. By creating a platform where you can bring this data into a platform completely controlled and access managed by the customers, giving access to a platform where they can bring their other data sources is huge. And it's really helping to advance how customers can bring rich insights, whether it's operational or clinical, breaking down the disparate silos. So that has been an exciting opportunity for us. It's really helping us accelerate our roadmap, our vision around truly becoming a platform provider.
What's the focus of the Microsoft diagnostic portfolio?
Oh, sure. Happy to talk about it. I would start by, first of all, acknowledging there is shortage of radiologists globally. This is just not a US problem. It's global, and everybody, understands the challenge. The difficult part is, Brian, it's not getting any better. If you look at the number of radiologists entering the industry, it's much smaller than the need. So the need continues to grow. And this has been a very active topic in every customer site I've visited. They're literally doing the math of number of residents coming in versus they can see how many are ready to retire at this point. So a huge problem. From our lens perspective, figuring out the right technology solutions to drive productivity, reduce burnout, drive quality. I mean, we've been obsessed with this for years and years. The way we look at it is 3 different vectors. Number 1, automate what radiologists cannot stand. There are just mundane, repetitive tasks that radiologists have to go through. And we look at it like technology should be able to automate that. And this is the path we've been on, and we'll continue to absolutely keep working on that. The second being identify what they cannot miss. Some of these radiologists, they're going through hundreds of reports every day. It's exhausting. It's human to miss things. And if the tools today that we have through AI can flag, hey, maybe you missed this, or we see a bit of a disconnect between your prior and this, etc. It's just that little nudge to give them the quality assurance they need to make sure they continue to produce high output results. And the third, this is an exciting area, of course, surface what they cannot see. Human eye can capture a lot, but again, you're going through hundreds of reports every day. It's exhausting. And AI is getting to a point, definitely in a lot of advancement just in the last several years where AI is getting to a point to get really intelligent about picking up insights from the image, which is one of the finest data source, and bringing that front and center. One of the things I would be remiss if I didn't mention is, and I've touched upon it, is we are taking a platform-centric approach. So we've been working the whole idea of a structured report through ambient speech, quality through clinical guidance. That's been part of our core DNA. We're taking a very heavy platform-centric approach so that we can not only bring our own AI, but through the Microsoft platform, create a infrastructure for many partners to host their AI. And through our workflow applications, provide them a route, a gateway to get this into the hands of radiologists. And the best part of this is the beneficiary of this is the customer, because they can choose what algorithms work for their environment, for what modalities, for what disease states, etc. Where we continue to power a platform to bring our own AI, third-party AI, and create an integrated experience for the radiologists. They don't want more screens, that they already have multiple things going on. So how do we embed into their workflow? So these have been some really interesting advancements we've been doing. We host today many vendors, partners, ecosystem partners on our platform, and we continue to expand that. At the same time, we continue to advance our own capabilities as well. We're super excited about recently, or earlier this year, we launched our first co-pilot experience, Smart Impression, and it automatically generates impression. I personally sat down with radiologists in the reading rooms and just asked them, like, what do you think about it? And like, or, you know what, I wrapped up my day early today, or, hey, this thing helped to catch things when I forgot. These are things that I've personally heard through our teams, or I just feel less tired. These are the signals, as a product leader, I love to hear, like, are we getting the signals from our end users that we are delivering value? And to me, that's very gratifying. And, we are on a mission to continue to ingest more AI, but make it purposeful and embed it into the workflow, working closely with our customers.
Very good. Vikram, can you go into a little bit more detail on how Microsoft is preparing healthcare organizations for AI in radiology, and how you think it might impact referring physicians and their patients?
Happy to do so. I would start by just quickly recapping the few of the things we talked about from a Microsoft lens. Just the investments we're making in security. That's a very, very, very relevant topic, and responsible AI. Along with that, every customer I've engaged with, and when we start to talk about the platform story, it's like, that makes sense. That's the way, given this organization, that we can do the end-to-end stack, from infrastructure to an AI platform to the workflow, bringing the whole end-to-end together. That's a piece we'll continue to bring to the market, just simplifying that experience. But beyond that, I want to shine light on some of the recent announcements we made at HLTH in Vegas. Maybe you had a chance to capture that, but I'll quickly recap. We've been busy building our own medical foundation, multimodal medical foundation models, and we're super excited about it. This was in our own models, as well as joint partnership with partners like NVIDIA and Page. And what that does is, it's bringing pre-trained models for research, for advancing the science behind this. So, and it's not just limited to radiology. We're just excited about how this would be applied to pathology or ophthalmology or dermatology. It's the effort involved to get this started is a lot. And through these pre-trained models, many academic organizations can just start to implement them, obviously augmenting with their own data sets, etc. And we just can't wait how they would unleash this to advance the state of care. There'll be a lot more work in this space. I think the industry is just starting to scratch the surface, and I think it's just going to be an exciting time for all of us to watch. Frankly, Brian, I feel that in our career lifetime, we are observing one of the pivotal moments of how AI is going to transition things, and this is definitely one of them. The other thing I just want to quickly mention is we touched upon the data platform. It would be amiss if I didn't mention Microsoft has a huge investment in our open platform called Microsoft Fabric, and we recently GA'd the healthcare data solutions in Microsoft Fabric, and essentially it's opening up the platform to bring those disparate data sources, of course, from our own Microsoft clinical apps, but also, just following standards like FHIR and DICOM, you start to bring in other third-party sources as well. Could be claims data, could be social determinants of health, could be just your clinical notes. And this is all controlled and managed within the client environment. But what that does is now you have an open platform that's completely controlled and managed by the customer, following standards, which allows you to bring different data sources and having the tools just to make it easy to ingest or analyze or to parse it or to slice and dice it. It is going to advance both their operational analytics as well as clinical analytics as well. So we are super excited about bringing these capabilities, again, bringing our clinical apps and the platform services together. So we're just super excited to see where this will go.
Very good. So kind of hard to believe, but RSNA is coming up in just a few weeks. What can we expect to see from Microsoft in Chicago?
Well, you'll have to come to RSNA for that, but maybe I can give you a teaser. Let me start by saying this. We are super obsessed with the needs of our customers and our end users. I have a dedicated voice of customer team. My entire team, we visit our customers very often, sit down in their reading rooms, truly observe their workflow and understand how things are going, but also speak with all the IT leaders to understand what's their IT strategy. And that's super valuable knowledge as we bring in and we look at the state of technology today. And again, back to the principles, like how do we automate what they cannot stand? How can we surface what they cannot see? Just trying to bring that. So we are super excited about bringing some transformative experiences to our customers. We'll have some exciting stuff to talk about at RSNA, and I can't wait. I know we are just about a month away. So I will leave you with that, but I think you're going to be pleased to see the stuff we're about to bring, just connecting the two. I invite you and all our listeners to come see us at booth 1311. I have to remember the number. So come see us at that booth, and I'll be there. My team will be there, and we'll be happy to welcome and show you what we have.
Very good. Well, can't wait to see you in Chicago. Well, some great discussion today. I'd like to thank Vikram Chhabra of Microsoft for being with us. Vikram, thanks again.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, Brian.
All right, signing off for the Imaging Wire. My name is Brian Casey.